Present.
Mr. Alexopoulos.
Here.
Mayor Joyce.
Present.
Thanks, Kate. Helen, you have some updates for us? Construction schedule update. Sorry about the voice.
That's okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Helen Gordon, Environmental Partners. We're the owner project manager on the project. And I can update on the two items that you have. First, the construction schedule update. So as we do every month, we provide you with a summary schedule. We don't give you the entire schedule because it's just, it's a 3-year project. But we give you a copy of the 6-week look ahead. So it gives you an opportunity to look at the specific things that are going to be worked on the next 6 weeks. And you can go and see them based on the particular discipline we're talking about. So there will be some yard work, piping done over the next 6 weeks. We are in the process of doing leak testing of the DAF units, the concrete units. The leak testing is going really well. I have to say that we're really happy with Gallagher is doing a great job in terms of the quality of work they do for the concrete. So I do want to mention that, which is really important. The process and admin building, we're going to be looking, I would say right now we're about 35% complete with the overall project in terms of the actual construction. And we're going to begin putting up the building walls in May. So we'll start preparation of work for that. And then also in June, we're going to be looking to start the subaqueous pipe. But prior to that, in April, we'll be putting up the fencing and closing the parking area over by Reservoir Walk on the Randolph side of the pond, so we can get ready for the construction for the subaqueous pipe. The subaqueous work will actually first begin with mussel relocation, which is one of the things we have to do. If you may recall, at the beginning of the project, we did have a specialist out there who did a dive, tagged mussels, and now we have to move them out of the way and relocate them until the subaqueous pipe is put in, and then after that, we will subsequently follow up to see how they repropagate. So that's ongoing, and that's part of the overall project budget. We have been informed by the Corps of Engineers that the Narragansett tribe has indicated that they would like to be on site for a period of time of the excavation around the landing of the subaqueous pipe on the Braintree side. And I'm going to point that out to you right now. So this is the Braintree side where we are. This is the Clearwell area. Okay. Pick up the mic. This is the Clearwell area that's under construction right now. And the subaqueous pipe will be coming out of the Clearwell and down along the bank of the reservoir to the, I just want to make sure, to the north of the existing lagoons and then across Great Pond. So they wish to be around when this small area is being disturbed. This area has already been disturbed and overseen, but there's an area right here, and they're requesting that 2 feet of the initial 2 feet that we dig down, that material gets repopulated at another location on the site to keep the energy on the site. So we'll be following up with that. So I just wanted to let you know we're incorporating that into the schedule. Okay. Any questions about the schedule?
Any questions?
None.
No? Okay, great. In terms of the construction budget, again, every month we do a summary for you. At one of the last meetings, you had asked for a summary each month of expended to date by each community, which we have that on this spreadsheet. I'm not going to go through every single line. I'm going to go through highlights, and then if you have questions, and if you might, we gave you a copy of the monthly report that we did, but there is a large spreadsheet, so you don't have to look at that 8.5 by 11. We have an 11 by 17 printout of the budget. That's at the end. If you flip over on the schedule, to the end of the schedule, you'll see the summary budget. So I'm going to talk about eligible, ineligible costs associated with construction. So Walsh Construction, their contract to date, they've expended $37.7 million. And the total eligible budget is $103.9 million. So they're at 34% of expenditure, right in line with the amount of construction that's been done. And I'll get into, and it does include change orders 1 and 2, which have already been processed. Change order 1, if you may recall, was the $87,136 for tribal oversight. And then change order number 2 was for the additional work and additional archaeological work that needed to be done, tribal oversight. So those 2 change orders have been processed. And currently, we have a change order number 3 that's under review and will be processed. It's for a small, considering the size of the project, it's for a small amount. It's $22,000, and it's for unforeseen conditions, running into a thrust block that wasn't anticipated, so on and so forth. And you'll get the details when we process change order 3. And this is all within the current budget and the contingency. Right now, if you look at the budget line item for contingency, we have utilized right now, where are we on that, Chris? At $4.069 million versus the $4.89 million. And in terms of engineering fees, so engineering covers owner project manager, which is environmental partners work, AE Comms work, and then also the resident project rep for EP that's out there. To date, we've expended $2.24 million on the eligible costs associated with that, out of a budget of $7.85 million. That comes to 28%, and we're at the 35% mark for construction. So we're doing well in terms of managing the budgets there. Any particular questions in relationship to the budget? Chris can speak to where we are in our SRF reimbursement.
No. Nothing. No, thank you.
Chris?
Chris Dapson with Environmental Partners. So for SRF reimbursement update, we have resubmitted Randolph and Braintree's SRF reimbursement number 2 based on the comments that Mass DEP provided. Holbrook, last I spoke to Tiffany, she was just reviewing it with the accounting department, and once she signs off, we'll submit that to Mass DEP as well. We do have drawdown 3 drafted for all 3 communities, so as soon as we get the go-ahead from DEP on reimbursement request number 2, we will submit number 3. Any questions regarding?
No. No, thank you.
No, good, thank you.
Okay, and we also provided a backup just in terms of where we stand right now with the fire department and their reviews. So I think we continue to reach out to them. The chief has indicated we're contacting him in a expeditious way so he can get the crews out, his people out there for the details. To date, we've expended $17,789.81. However, that's how much we've received in invoices. There's about $39,000 that's been actually expended in terms of oversight to date, so I anticipate an invoice coming soon on those. We haven't seen an invoice for a while, but I know Sarah is out right now, but she's going to be reaching out to the fire department to make sure we get those invoices so we can get them processed. And that is all I had on that item.
Questions on fire details?
No.
No, awesome.
And that's, the next item is future meeting date. If you don't mind me mentioning something to take into consideration when you're looking at your next meeting date. So for the website, we'll have the URL finalized April 5th. We'll have a final draft site by April 28th. So we would be ready to make a presentation on what that looks like. April 29th to May 3rd, if that, and the question I would have is, would you like the first review to be by representatives of the town, for example, Jim Arsenault and others, or would you like us first to make an overall presentation to the board to look at it and comment on?
I think, Helen, that if you make the presentation first, would be good.
Okay. Okay. So if you might indulge me, we could have the next meeting somewhere around that April 29th, May 3rd date where we would have that ready to go.
Does the 23rd of April work?
The 23rd, we wouldn't be ready by then.
Ready? Okay.
30th?
So,
So we could do it in May.
could you do the 30th?
Yes.
30th. Okay. Man, does that work for you?
Yes.
30th. Okay. Our next meeting will be on April 30th.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's it.
Anything else that you have for us?
The only other thing is, forgot my mic.
He's gonna yell at you.
If there's any questions from, this is the area, I think we've gone over it before on Randolph, where we're going to be starting with the fencing that will be going up. And we will have a RPR over there on the site during construction as well. So, and it will be a second resident project rep, and they're within the budget. That's what we had planned all along. So we wouldn't take Ernie off of the water treatment plant work, and he's focused on that, and somebody else will focus on the subaqueous pipe. And then this is just an update. So this is a picture from last week. If you want to take an opportunity before you leave to take a look at it, things are moving along really nicely. And as I said, pretty exciting in May, we're going to be starting to put up the walls and the sides of the buildings. So things are going well. And I do want to report also that with the last rain event, which was quite extreme, there was no discharges into the reservoir. There has been some additional stormwater management that's been put in that did the trick. So I was happy to see that Monday. And that's all I have.
Brian. On the request on the tribe to come in and review.
Maybe Helen, you can bring him the microphone? Can you bring Brian the
Oh,
microphone?
yeah.
Thank you. As far as the request from the Army Corps on behalf of the tribe, is that being viewed as not just a request, but the expectation is that we will be doing similar to what we did last time?
So the Army Corps has requested that we offer it as an option up front because they have expressed interest in that area. And all it would mean is that they're there when the 2 feet are being taken out. So it's not anything like the last time where we had to stop the construction, where we had to do it by the 6-inch lifts. So it's a, correct. Absolutely right. There will be no impact on it. And that is why I'm bringing it to the board's attention, because I want to make sure that, that's something that, you're comfortable with. We've had a conversation with the Corps. They believe that this should be the last requirement that we have. There is expectation of payment, yes. I would say to dig down 2 feet, it could be 1 day. No.
They got to get, should have an audience mic. As far as the building and the walls are going up, we heard a lot about, at our last meeting, the issue of people in Braintree with cell phones apparently get misdirected to other communities where they make phone calls, as far as calling 911 services, and that the direct line is critical to responses. When can we have a landline made available so that that's no longer an issue? At the last meeting, we discussed the issue of fire response. And one of the key things they talked about was the radio, and that the radio is critical because people will make phone calls with their cell phone and they get redirected to other neighboring communities, which would cut down on a response time. That was a key part of the discussion from the last meeting. I'm suggesting, what would it take to just have a landline installed on the property to negate that issue? That's all.
I have to say I don't recall that comment, but it doesn't mean anything. Yeah, I mean, my understanding why they have the details there is because they can dial direct to the fire station and get the fire engines there quicker than if you called 911. And however, if that's right, I can defer to AECom to see if they know what the schedule is for when that, when they're planning on that associated with the project. I'd have to look specifically.
That's typically one of the later things. Oh, Steve DeFrancesco with AECom. It's typically one of the later items that, once the building is wrapping up, so we're probably talking over a year for that. I mean, I would think you'd be better off putting a cell phone repeater on a pole up there so that everyone went directly to that rather than having one landline up there that everyone would have to go to. But I don't know the logistics of something like that.
I think, we have extenuating circumstances, so I agree, normally that's where the phone line would go in. However, I'm assuming there's got to be a way that if we wanted to put a phone line in, and I'm not, permanently installed or whatever the case may be, but I got to think that there is a way that we can accomplish that. So just food for thought. I would like the board to consider that issue and see what other things can be done to improve communication. Because the issue of cell phones was, cell coverage was an issue. So
Another option would be to put it in one of the field trailers out there, because there's probably a landline coming down the access road to the treatment plant right now, going right by one of the trailers. That's how things were done back 10 years ago, but that's like a crank phone now, I guess. But if a landline would help, we'd be better off probably going to one, either Ernie's trailer or Walsh's trailer, I would think, if that would be a benefit.
Just leave it like this. Mr. Chair, would you like us to look into that and report back? Okay.
That'll be fine, thank you.
Could I ask even, I don't even know if a landline would be required, but even, I've seen it in many industrial buildings, simply a red button on the wall that goes directly to the fire or the police department. It's just like an emergency direct line. I don't even know if an actual phone would be required.
We'll look into it.
Thank you.
Anything else for Helen?
No.
Katie?
No, thank you.
Okay. All set. So our next meeting will be on April 30th at noontime. Anything else to come before the board? Hearing none? Ask for a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion is made. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Goldberg, aye.
That's 3 in favor, 0 in opposition. We're adjourned. Thank you very much for watching.